coming out of it understanding something that one cannot say. And that's the experience to follow by, to follow after, to chase after. That's the experience to bring under the grips of rational, common, universal discourse. Understanding something that cannot be said about the world. There's a grasping, there's a framing of it, which was hit on the last time one of these were in happening. There's a grasping, there's a framing of it, and essential in encapsulating it in this phraseology of the mon justo, using the right words and the right words leading to the right paragraph, the right sections of mouth noises, of correct mouth noises. We're going to put this picturesque sculpture into the mutual medium of disclosure and discourse. And it's a wonderful process, the habit, when it's going right and when it's in line, let's say, with the background of the listener. When it's in line with the background of the listener, is especially easeworthy in that way, that it slides through and it holds and it pulls the right relevant information into this room of synthesis, and from there it can create coherence around a comprehensive framework. You can create coherence around N plus a comprehensive framework. The framework, the background, is merely a case in to grip and hold on to the main frame of it. But secondly, to add in the continuation of how the world is in everyday neuronal existence, and how the world is when it's to be spoken of, and these things that are understood but difficult to say. But you can almost say it, and some days are better than others. Off to mentor Mr. McKenna to have put those words in those arrangement, and and the symptom and the feeling is mutual, and the feeling is multiple for all those who resonate with that line, but do not hold back or step back, but persevere into further reattacking that mark to be able to release this possibility. And the possibility is a framing, and it happens in every moment when one of these are occurring. In the entire collection so far, there are different angles, different directions to bombard this episode of thought that will release its content, and then releasing those contents, downloaded into content, translated into language, broadcasted, published, and then it goes on from there. But continuously attacking and catapulting, bombarding in all manner to penetrate, to infiltrate what is the source content to be grasped, what is there to be said about it, and how language as a scoping tool can probe and interact with this possibility, how language can probe and continue to interact with this possibility that it can yield its callings. Referring also that the date is a Monday, the 12th of December, the 12th of December, the 9th of December 2014, a few more days to to 2025 in the 21st century. So that's one way to locate what is going on the ground floor in the 21st century at this time, and meaning that what is going on in comparison to what should be going on. And they are close. At moments they seem to be fluctuating and dipping into what should be going on, and other moments they are in their unique time period, carrying out themselves as the products of their time, and all in this manner that they are functioning up to par, the function as expected. And it's, well, then we could sideboat into the issue of what is expected and what is not expected, and could stake on speaking about the world in how it's one day and it's different from another day, but yet all days share a similarity, but yet all the days are not the same. They're not the same in one's microscopic structure, that it's not the same in one's molecular structure. One's cells are regenerated in incrementally, imperceptibly rather. It have been augmented imperceptibly, period after period, time after time, day after day. month after month, and all the other units to measure time. So there's a continuous changing carrying on. There is, well, this can be spoken of then. The flow that continues with the world, but yet still new things are emerging. So yes, there are death and they die and they decay and they decompose, but yet there is new things that are constantly being replenished and brought into being. And then that's that cycle. Or it's a great current from the was to the is and to the current and from and towards the becoming and towards the incoming. And these different players are in their role, but they all carry out and leave sound trails for what they're supposed to be. There are certain things that can be predicted simply because of their giveaway in the present. And then they show some of the cards by being revealed in this way, and the rest can be filled in with the associative capacity. Of not most time to the highest of degrees of completion, but enough that it shows that the capacity to associate is one to be is formidable and one to be respected. So most of because also man has his foot in the door, given that it's emenesis that he's remembering these things as well. The regeneration emergence process is memory as well. There's the remembrance of the world of having done this or understood it or be briefed on it or being reviewed for it, or being trained for it, and all these being related to in some intangible, incorporeal storage place, but they're not tangible aspects of it. But there is the feeling, the faint feeling that yes, this is the experience, this is the world, and all these other things come along with it, and to be known. Well, it also can be known from the experience that goes on within it, but also the experience that goes on within it. One was pre-programmed, was prepared to be able to participate as they do. So then that adds to the description of the world and depiction of it in configurating language. That adds to the description of it in configurating language. Oh well, then that's something again for the world to be spoken of. How new things are coming in, and yet things are withering away. It is flowing. It is in constant motion. But standing still and feeling still, it does not appear that way. There is definitely the illusion that goes on to mask the true nature of the world, the back room, the showroom. That it does not fluster the agent. It's understandable in now seeing things in the shoes of biology, why the humans are made in a certain way and why they respond to certain things in a certain way, and why there is room to be able to metacognate and then recognitize, rethink, remodel, to be able to rediscover the present. It's in the shoes of biology. It is sensible. It makes sense how the world has to be, and how the world has to be inflated, and how its tiniest passages in its evolutionary vector have to be filled, and even down to the microscopic branches, they also have to be filled, their vacancies with inventions and thoughts and facility. He's being inflated, he's being taking form, being is becoming is taking form. And he, well, yes, and then many other things that have been spoken of link into it. Well, also, as all these channels and facets are, say, there are different angles to centralize on this one theme of, well, nature of the world, the happiness of the enterprise, the highest animals and their tendency, authentic actualization, the gospel of Eden, the process of progress towards discovering approximate perfection. All these center around this one theme, but others are in the from the direction, from the goal of description that it seeks to put. It seems to put a layer, a comparable, a comparable counterpart, or even just a counterpart against the world, and then to model it even from itself, even from its own footprints that is describing itself for one. So then it's not there is no fiddling of counterfeiting with the data, and then that gives it security and sterilizes it. It's from the world itself, and the other is how it's from the world, but it's a more it's in this in the second classification. It's more diversified. Say it's eclectic in this way, and it requires more input, so it's less sterile, but yet it's high yield, and it yields majority of the incoming data, a large amount of it, it yields. So then, yes, that consciousness can be classified into different contents that are all derived from observer participancy and observer placement in place and in time. And that, yes, it's not only made by the time man was born in, of course, by the place he was born. I really want to emphasize on the time that he was born in, and being as crucial as well. And even in that time slot that he's born in the 17th century, across the globe, in all possible in cultures he could have been born in, he still has a certain course under him, let's say a blessing under course from being born in that slot of time of the 17th century. It same happens in the 19th century. Across all the possible cultures, one higher agent could be put in. They're in a certain course or blessing of time because they're in the 21st century. He can be carbon dated like fossils because of his stamp, because of his time stamp, and it tells you what symptomatic in his culture, what goes on, and what are the general pitfalls that certain fall for in certain time periods, and then the end times being revealed as the epitome of deception, of holding that this deception holds man back from utopia, and it puts him here. He has to run just as fast to stay in the same place. The Red Queen, and all these are thrown onto him. Well, it refers also back to Neo. He's captured it, and well, when he thinks when he thinks as an artist, he captures it far-fetched, but he does not bring in much detail. The artists, they're they're getting their heads into heaven to get a glimpse at things, but they're not rooting it from the source. Maybe they're in this case that they're not tracing their source. They're not leaving breadcrumbs. It was a Hansel or Gretel, but they're not leaving breadcrumbs like the others are, to have measurements and have set rules to know where they're coming from, to be able to prove things repetitively. But these guys are really out there. They are akin and into it, and they get a glimpse of it when they return, and now they can distill it. How to distill it in the phasing and passing imagery of sight, your persistent vision. They can still get a glimpse of it, so they remember that in dream. They isolate it, and then they distill it in the form that they do, and things go on from there. But in the case of catching onto it in his own slot, in his own time, he's representing something unique about the world in this inflation, and how it takes form, and how it takes over.